What up, it's your boy Dvrth again with another video. Today we're here with To Your Eternity episode 8. Last episode we had Fushi meet Gugu. I almost forgot his name. Had Fushi meet Gugu. He is a young boy who has had a very shady brother. Ran off with his money. He got into an accident with like some log basically crushing his orbital floor. He was taken in by the who we only know him as like Boozman or whatever. He did something. Well, let me not be too presumptuous. He revived Fushi, or like gave him first aid. It seems like he did something to I said Fushi, didn't I? It seems like he did something to Gugu after he gave him like first aid. It seems like he gave him a little bit more than just first aid. It seems like he did something to his body that it has pretty much gone under the radar. We haven't seen anything exactly too crazy going on with his body or too different from his body, other than like his stomach is like distended, and what that could be, who knows. But we do know that Boozman is very eccentric. He is a go-getter, I guess we could say. We ended off with Gugu running into Reen, who promptly found an interest in Fushi, to Gugu's absolute despair, and ended off the episode on him wanting to better himself. So we're gonna hop straight into it. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. You have any requests, whether it be more to your eternity, I was about to say Hunter x Hunter, To Your Eternity, or something totally different, the best place in that end is always my social media. Link's going to be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early or the full-length reaction to these episodes, you can subscribe to my Patreon. We also have Discord if you want to talk more To Your Eternity or anything else that we're watching on the channel. So with all that being said, let's get our headphones, make sure they're on. Them bitches is on, and let's just get into it. Something tells me that, something tells me that this idea is not great. At least not for my dog, Gugu. No, Boozman, he's just a go-getter, so he's like free labor. Oh yeah, I'm with it. All I gotta do is cook for you. I'm with it. Oh, this is good though. It's time to test it out. Oh yeah. It comes out when I want. Well, he didn't feel any like stimulation with the, like he knew of the spear because either, what you doing? Ah. Yep, there goes the stimulation. So he has to be hurt by those things, which transforms into stimulation. So if you hit him on the head with the bowl, he's probably gonna be like, ah, yeah, bowl. There it is. Huh. This is okay, painful, but good experiments. So he can't make the fire. So he can make things, but he can't make phenomenon. I mean, you're burning my nigga. Also, he's probably just taking a lot of this out on him because of the whole Reen situation. But hey, if they're to be brothers, this type of stuff is something that will happen. Okay. What the fuck? What? It is a cork! He's a human fermenting machine. Is that that's alcohol? He's a human gourd for fermenting alcohol. What the fuck? So it literally was a cork in which he put a tube in his shit. A manifestation of humor and inspiration. That's not the fucking point. My boy. They revealed that so like casually. It was like, hey, by the way, give me your face real quick. What? No, I don't want to. I'm not worried. Jesus. Right. The selfishness, bro. The selfishness. Oh my god, the selfishness. Oh god. He's trying his best. Oh, not. Oh god. That is fucked up, bro. And no wonder he feels like a monster because, I mean, they treat him as such. Only useful when you're needed, which is sad. I don't think it works like that. You literally have to siphon it out. Ah. 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 Man. That's some bullshit. I'm that bitch. Oh no, it's not even that. Right, okay, at least he's a great guy. I mean, they seem nice enough. Alright. Ah. Whoop his ass. And why not? Oh no. Oh, that is. I don't want to watch this episode at all. This shit suck. Why is he like that? All right, he's making progress. He didn't cut it up into 2 pieces. It was 3 pieces this time. Shop in the afternoon. Jeez. God. Oh no. Oh no. Right. Right. I was about to say he called you by your name, which is You know what? Sometimes maybe being human isn't the greatest thing to be. Sometimes it don't seem that great. Like right now. Sometimes sometimes it's okay to be a monster. At least that's what I think. What? What? You people work fields. Embarrass what? Who are you embarrassing? The agriculture? I am so not okay right now. Man. Ooh. Ooh, this track. No way. Oh, he is not good. Oh, Google, you fucking... You beautiful boy, you are not a monster. Oh, you are so good. Fuck, bro. This shit is so... Really? What now? Let's go. Monsters stick together. This episode is emotional as fuck, nigga. Boy, who the fuck you think you are? You must have forgot. Yeah. But I'm here. Oh, bro, I do not feel like crying. Who says you're not, bro? Hooray for monsters. Oh, fuck. I did not plan on getting emotional this episode. I mean, I get what show this is, but I understand what kind of show this is, but like, I for some reason I didn't expect like this episode to hit me so hard. I just didn't. I didn't. I did not wake up this morning planning to cry on camera. God, I just feel Gugu so fucking so like I just feel him, bro. I feel him, bro, on like a very personal level. Like that shit. Oh, people suck. Like a lot. And I don't think that's a statement that I don't think that's a statement that a lot of people have to hear. Like that's not a crazy revelation, you know? That's not a crazy revelation that people suck. And the thing about it is that okay. Let me recollect myself. Let me recollect myself. Okay. So first off, we got Reen, or not Reen. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm all over the place. I'm so all over the place. First off, we got like Guru and Fushi. They're in the kitchen, they're working together to clean dishes and stuff like that. And maybe not obviously, but most likely Guru is still feeling a little bit of resentment for Fushi because of the whole Reen situation. And I can't exactly blame him, because one, of Gugu's age, like Gugu is very young, and while what he did it was bad. What he did wasn't good. It was very bad, but he was feeling out his emotions. You know, he acted upon them, and it turned out to hurt somebody who he should care about. Right now, what that sounds like to me is what a lot of brothers go through. You know, the experimentation of what they did and stuff, like, yeah, in retrospect, like, or like in the moment, I was like, oh yeah, interesting, very interesting, right? Because yeah, I would like to know if Fushi could recreate fire if he got hurt by it, you know. Could he recreate the knife and all this other stuff? You know, the experimentation, yeah, sure, makes sense. It was very interesting, but it was not the right thing to do, simply because it was hurting Fushi. Just because Fushi is a monster does not mean that he can hurt, which is honestly, it seems like the theme of most if not all of this episode, right? You know, just because he's a monster, it doesn't mean that he can't hurt. And when he did hurt, Fushi himself felt resentment for Gugu. That's what that's what started this whole spat between them, of them being so standoffish with each other, you know. Gugu being angry enough to hurt Fushi, and Fushi being angry enough angry enough with Gugu to not want to go find him, right? But as I said, that is kind of just what brothers do. You know, they fight, and they get mad at each other. That's what siblings do. Honestly, that's what family does. They fight, get mad at each other, but that's still family, you know. Jesus fucking Christ. But yeah, they, you know, that all happens, and Guru is kind of taking out his frustration with the whole Reen situation on Fushi, and we get a scene of Fushi staring at the forest, you know, still afraid of it, just to instate the idea of Fushi being afraid, having that fear, right? And him walking away from the forest and being like, okay, yeah, I can't do it. You know, Fushi still being very hard, or very it's still being very difficult for Fushi to get over that fear, which it makes sense. He is very traumatized by what happened. But here's the really weird part, right? Because it was very casual. In the next scene, we get Boozman kind of, he pops the cork on Gugu's face, puts like a tube where I can only assume is like his nose, and starts siphoning alcohol, which is what I thought was happening in the last episode. I at least I think that's what I said, because I was like, oh yeah, he seems like he has something in his stomach and probably has like, because he looked like a cork. It looked like a cork. So it looked like he was made into a literal barrel, especially since in the last episode we had to touch on like the selfishness of like people. But yeah, pops the cork on Gugu's face, starts siphoning alcohol through Gugu's nose, and it is terrifying, mostly because there is no real reason for him to have done that. Like, it was so selfish. It was so selfish for him to do, because if he could have done that, he could have easily just fixed Gugu. Gugu would have had like a like, he still would have had his deformities, but he had to add something that would benefit him. It would benefit him. There was no like kindness to it. It was simply, if I'm gonna do this, I need something out of you, you know. It was that selfishness that we talked about in the last episode. And even after Gugu like got mad, ran away and stuff, all they cared about was Gugu's cooking tasted better. Like, that was the only thing people cared about, is that now you're cooking, the cooking sucks. I wish we had Gugu back so he could cook. That was it. It wasn't, damn, hope he's all right, damn, I should go check on him, I should go find him, damn, I really messed up. It was, damn, now we're missing out on other things that he could provide for us, which is why, like, personally, I like, at that moment I really connected with Gugu, because like it is a fear for me personally. Whenever I think, like, if this is really personal, but it's a personal fear for me, that whether my existence is only to satiate others, or whether my existence is for myself, right? Do I exist because others need me, or do I exist because I want to, I am a human and I want to live, right? And Gugu, in this situation, we get the answer for Gugu, for at least these people, is that they care about what he provides, not what he not his feelings, not like, if they do care about his feelings, it's because he provides something when he's in a better mood. So it's very, I feel so bad for him, because it makes it to where Gugu doesn't exactly experience true kindness. He to me, the idea of kindness is that you give without expecting anything back. You may get something back, but you don't expect it to happen. Like, if I were to give or loan, not even loan, if I were to give somebody $1, I don't expect that dollar back. That is a kindness. Now if I said, now I need that money back, it's a loan, not a kindness, right? So with these people, it's kind of like that for Gugu, where he doesn't experience actual kindness, because everything that he does, his existence seems so transactional. What can you get? Like, what can you give me? You know, and unfortunately, that's the type of life that Gugu has lived. Being poor and having to find job after job after job. Of course, that's also transactional, and of course it's a job, so it should be, or like in a lot of ways it should be, but to go from that working multiple jobs and stuff, and then come home to family and it's still transactional. I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. It is selfishness on full display that I could not help but tear up every time Google was on the screen, being just. I hated that. I hated this episode. I hated watching this episode so much. So much. But yeah, there's that. So frustrating. But Fushi comes in the next day, or Fuji comes in and he's like, yeah, I'll cook. I don't want to go find him, but I'll cook, because he's rightfully so mad at Gugu for him taking out anger on Fushi. So now, Flame's upset and all this other stuff. And Gugu is alone and trying to take out the I guess tube that's in his nose, which painful. But and this is like the really sad part for this episode. This is pretty much the meat and potatoes. This is what's gonna be the meat and potatoes of this discussion. But now Gugu's alone. He's out in the world and he is a monster amongst humans. His only worth to the world is what he can give to others. What others can take from him. What use are you? You're a monster, but what use are you, right? So very quickly we find people, making him a spectacle. Then be like, oh my God, did you see that he looks so weird, and what's his deal? I don't know, but he don't look that tough, and he's just a boy trying to find work to make money so he can survive. He is none of the things that these people are gossiping about, like, oh, he's a monster. No, he's not. He's just a kid. Oh, he seems tough. No, he's just a kid. He's not that tough. Like, he's a kid, it sucks. And it all kind of like adds on to everything when he joins his I don't know the guy's name, but he calls him Master, the guy that taught him how to like till fields and stuff like that. But he joins that family, or he just kind of like eats with that family, and the kids aren't very receptive of Gugu joining the family. Now, granted, he is like they are kids, and they probably would not have even accepted a new member of the family if it was literally their mom giving birth to their brother and or sister, right? That is just kind of how kids are. But the thing is, with these kids, they heard the rumors of Gugu being a monster and all this other stuff, and immediately saying, well, I don't want that monster to be a part of my family. And Gugu having a very mature response of like, he wants to be loved. And if he wants to be loved, right, they have to accept who he is. So, and this was like a heartbreaking line. I gotta go back and actually see this. Whether or not you can be family depends on whether or not you can love each other. That's what I want. That's what I want to. So I want to try it. I want you to try it. Look at my face and see if you can love me. I had already liked Gugu. Like last episode, halfway through this episode, I had already liked Gugu. He's a great character. He's a sweet little boy that just wants money and a family. He's great. But this line right here did it for me. after this line, I could feel, you know, when you know you're about to cry and you can kind of feel it in your chest. You can kind of like, ah, 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 no, oh no, you know, this was that moment for me. Look at my face and see if you can love me. This boy thinks he's a monster. And he's right. He's right. Like, if he's right. That's what love is. He's got the right idea. And it was very mature of him to be like, okay, let me show you what I look like. And if you can love this face, I will stay. If you can't, it's fine. I will leave. Because it's mature because one, it gives them the option of deciding whether or not they do want to love, because you should be able to decide whether or not you want to love somebody. You should not be forced to love somebody, right? And it's also mature because he's willing to accept rejection, them rejecting his love, because he's laying it all out. He's like, I want to love you guys. Let me show you my face, and let me see if you guys can love me. Gugu might be the best character on this fucking show right now. So obviously the kids see his face and run off screaming and crying, and making him feel more like a monster than he was before. And I felt so bad for him. I do like, just really quick, I do like that they never really show Gugu's face. And you know, while they could have like drawn his face all disformed and stuff, I think the mystery of what he actually looks like is a lot better, because one, obviously these kids are scared, and one of the greatest fears is the fear of the unknown. So it's a good way to convey to the audience how disformed, disformed Gugu's face is, and for the audience to somewhat empathize with what the kids are feeling when they see, because once again, they're kids. Their experience of life is limited to like 6 years. I don't expect them to have a very mature reaction to somebody whose face is very disfigured. I think there are adults that have volatile reactions to disfigured people. So having the kids have this like very violent reaction to seeing Gugu and crying and shit does more for the audience than actually drawing in his face and showing how disformed and stuff it is. But also, it is very hard to I want to say it's hard to imagine what a face like Gugu is supposed to have would look like, especially after the experimentation and stuff. So very good choice to like just not show Gugu's face. It's good writing, and it's also just a very mature take on the disfigurement of Gugu. But yeah, he takes it on the chin. He's like, okay, that's fine, I'll leave. and he gets up and he leaves, and I, good on you, good on you, because you shouldn't be like, as much as he wanted love, it's another mature facet of what Guru did, is that you shouldn't want to be around people that don't want to love you. You don't need to, and you shouldn't be around people like that. If they don't want to love you for you know who you are, fine. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm not saying that it's good. I'm saying that that is okay. You just leave. You leave. You leave, you know? So a very mature response from Guru, but also heartbreaking, because the dad is trying to explain to the kids like, hey, you should be ashamed of you know what you just, like, what you said and how you reacted. But Guru's like, no, it's fine. Walks off, right? Goes to try to talk to Guru, and once again takes it on chin. He's like, no, I'm smiling under this mask. And I could go into a 2-hour rant on why that is a hard fucking line. Gugu had like several hard lines, like just bars in this episode, and like I said, I could go on for at literal hours on why that was a hard line. But I will simply say that someone like Gugu, in a situation like him, I can see why he would say that, you know, because he understands that it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So, and when you have a kind of existence like Guru has, where your existence is transactional, and you haven't really experienced like actual kindnesses, your best bet is not to try to explain to people, hey, this is like, and maybe this isn't your best bet, maybe this is just a problem that I have, but unfortunately Gugu handled this the same way that I usually handle my problems. He's like, nah, it's fine, I'm smiling under this, right? It's not a healthy way. It's not a healthy way to handle a problem like that. But I understand why he did it. It's easier to simply give somebody an answer that makes them feel better, you know, that it makes them feel better. Like the dad felt really bad for Gugu, right? But would he have understood if Gugu explained to him everything that he's feeling right now? Like, oh, I feel like a monster and this and that and that and that. Like, sometimes it's easier just to tell people what they want to hear. And what the dad wanted to hear right there was that that Gugu was okay. So Gugu was like, yes, I am okay. I am smiling. Like I said, I could go on forever about why it's a hard line, but I will like just put it in layman's terms. That is why that line is so hard, because sometimes people just, if it is a kindness that you give to people to tell them what they want to hear. Sometimes, you know, to make them feel like they aren't in the wrong, you know. So I felt really bad for him right there too. It was horrible. And once again, Goo feels like a monster. Thing about being a monster, and as we've seen with a lot of these people in this episode, is that sometimes, as I said during the episode, sometimes it's okay to be a monster. I don't think that it's a bad thing. The thing about monsters is that they are only created by the people that name them monsters. We don't exactly know what a monster is until we identify it ourselves. And the connotation of a monster is so negative that we only put that label on things that we don't like. And as humans, sometimes we don't like, we show the wrong things animosity. We show things that we are simply uncomfortable with animosity because it's different. It's oh no, I don't know about that, bro. Like that shit don't that shit not normal to me. So fuck it. It's monstrous, right? So monsters are only created by humans and labeled by humans. Most monsters are just living beings, by their own like connotation of the word. And like I said, sometimes it's better to be a monster because humans suck sometimes. Humans suck a lot of times. They are not the greatest beings sometimes. Sometimes humans are bigger monsters than the monsters themselves. And obviously that's theme has been done many a times. Just look at Frankenstein's monster. Like that is that is the perfect way to explain Gugu's life. He is Frankenstein's monster. And people sucked in that book. People sucked. Frankenstein was he wasn't the greatest person in the world. He was, or not Frankenstein, but the monster wasn't the greatest thing. Like he wasn't doing all these kindnesses in turning water into wine and shit like that. But he wasn't trying to hurt nobody neither. As far as I remember in the book, he wasn't trying to hurt nobody until niggas started to try to hurt him. So yes, people create their own monsters and they label their own monsters. And sometimes, a lot of the times, people are wrong about it. So yeah, it is not always a bad thing to be a monster. And I think Gugu kind of comes into this realization of embracing his monstrosity. While he takes off the helmet, he embraces the way he looks, and he simply tries to have people accept him the same way he tried to have the family accept him. He realizes that he can't hide who he is, and he tries to have the world accept him. Problem is that the world, at least this very small microcosm of the world, does not. People are running away from him. They're scared of him. They're, I can't, I don't have any money, please don't hurt me, all this other stuff. And it is just horrible. He basically gets bullied off of the fields, them saying like, hey, you're embarrassing us, blah blah. And I'm like, who the fuck? Y'all are farmers. You're farmers. Who are you embarrassing? But yeah, just time after time, him being treated like a monster and doing like, people are treating him like shit, bro. People are treating him like shit. And here's the worst part about it. He keeps the ring, right? Obviously he keeps the ring because it reminds him of a time when he looked normal. He was normal, he was human, right? And he goes to try to sell it. Keeps it because it makes him feel keeps him tied to his humanity. And keeps him from going insane, basically. Same thing with his master, where like his master is being very kind, and people like that can keep you from going completely insane, as he said before. But what really did it for me is that in the end, after being treated like shit by everybody, he then finds the original person that did him dirty, his brother, looking horrible. Who knows what he's gone through since he left, but he looks terrible. He's thin, he's emaciated, and he looks out of his, like, he looks either, he just looks under the influence of something. He looks bad. And after the world showed this monster as much hatred as they could muster up, that monster decides to just give back. He decides to do a kindness, an actual kindness. He shows actual kindness by giving his brother the ring, saying, hey, you sell this and you will never have to worry about where your next meal comes from. It's like I said at the beginning of the discussion, a kindness is doing something and not expecting anything from it. You don't expect to get anything back. And Gugu did not expect to get a damn thing back from giving his brother that ring. He simply saw that he was in bad shape, and he was like, you need this. You need this more than I do, because even with money, I am still a monster. People are still gonna look at me like I'm a freak. So he gives it to the brother, doing him that kindness, that final solid, and the brother thinks that is Gugu, and he cuts all that off and says, I don't have a brother. I don't have a brother. Right there, he grows up. I don't have a brother. He's a new person now. He's not human anymore. He's cut off that humanity. And he's accepted. He has finally accepted being a monster. Because it's not bad. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Being a monster does not have to be a bad thing. Or maybe, just maybe, being a monster is relative. Maybe it depends on who it is and who sees you. And we immediately get Gugu being kidnapped. He's about to get sold off to God knows what, and is promptly saved by Fushi, who crossed the forest in order to save him. Fushi, who also is seen as a monster, who is also seen as a freak. He basically overcame his fears of the forest and to be honest with you, maybe him overcoming his fears isn't the right way to put it. He was still scared. That I should point that out. He was still scared. Fushi was still terrified. And Gugu even asked him, he's like, why are you here? Aren't you afraid of the forest? And yeah, Fushi's like, yeah, I am afraid, but I'm here. And that is what makes them family. At the end of all of this, at the end of Gugu being shunned by everybody, made a monster by everybody, and shown no love, and being rejected, and seeing the selfishness of people, he finally finds who he can call family. His brother, Fushi, who through his own trauma, fear, and terror, was still like, I can't grow up without you. Even after the fight, even after being angry at Gugu, even after Gugu being shunned by the world, they still come together because they are brothers and they cannot grow up without each other. As I said in the beginning of the discussion, that is what family does. You do get into arguments. you do get into fights, you do have disagreements, and you won't always be on the same level as each other. But dear God, if one of them is in trouble, best believe you are going to run to their aid. Does not matter where they are. It doesn't matter how much danger they're in. It doesn't matter whether it's dangerous for you or anybody or anything. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. That right there is your family. That's your brother. You gotta go save him. And it is such this was such an amazing episode. I genuinely did not expect to. I just didn't. Such an amazing, and it ended off with Gugu embracing Fushi and being like, "Hooray for monsters!" Wrapping all what we just talked about into a neat little bow is that it's okay. It's okay to be a monster. It's okay. You still got your family, and you are still worthy of love. Monsters are worthy of love, even if it's from their own kind. They are worthy of love. The idea of being a monster is relative to who it is and who sees you. This episode was genuinely beautiful, and I did not expect to get so emotional about it, because I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably going, after I turn off this camera, I'm probably gonna go to bed and have like a really good cry. Cause a lot of this episode hit home so hard. I felt all of this so. I don't know, man. This is a great episode. It was such a great episode. But now, Fushi has his family. I think we should round off the conversation with that. That now Fushi has his family. He has met his mother in March. Arguably his father with the unnamed boy, or the unnamed boy, I guess we'll call him. Corona being a grandmother figure in a way, and now we have Gugu, his older brother. This is it, bro. This was a fantastic episode, and this really rounded off the whole Gugu thing better than I thought it would. Well, also quicker than I thought it would. But this is probably my favorite episode. This is genuinely probably my favorite episode. This was just, dear God. I don't even know what else to say. I really don't, because I'm just emotionally, I am shot. I just can't, bro. So once again, great episode. Really enjoyed this one. Gugu is definitely like probably my favorite character. Yeah, nah, he's definitely my favorite character now. He is definitely my favorite character now. He is the best boy. He is the best boy. He does not deserve this. He did not deserve that. So yeah, really good episode. I don't know. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all the other stuff. If you're just a lurker, I appreciate you too. If you have any requests, whether it be more to your eternity or something totally different, the best place to send that in is always my social media. Link's gonna be in the description below. And if you want these episodes early, you can subscribe to my Patreon. Link's gonna be in the description below for that as well. We also have Discord. Real quick, by the time you're seeing this episode, I am probably on vacation. So if this episode came out a little late or a little early, I probably should have said this in the beginning of the I probably should have said this in the beginning of the video, but this video came out a little late. It's because I'm probably gone for I'm gone on vacation for a while. So yeah. So bear with me. Thanks in advance for your understanding and all that other stuff and all that PBS Kids type shit. Yeah. And as always, let me get my off button ready before I do any of that shit, because I just my emotions are just fuck. As always, y'all stay amazing, stay safe, and take care of yourselves.